All right, let's call this meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Farmington Planning Board for August 21st. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. Let's start with something very important. Well, let's introduce our new member, Regina Sousa. All right, just want to make sure. She's our newest member. She also works at county planning, so we're very happy to have her. Now we have a full board again, and we couldn't be happier. So with that, again, we'll go through some administrative items. That is that we will be following the rules of procedure adopted by this board on January 3rd of 2024. Please mute all of your electronic devices, phones, watches, whatever you might have. We do have a generator, and if we do have an emergency, we hit the exits on the two corners here, and we always recommend that you just follow Ron because he'll be the first one out. Okay, next item up is the approval. Oh, make sure if anyone has not signed in, please sign in. That gives our clerk the ability to identify people as we handle things. Okay, first item up is the approval of minutes of July 17th. Everybody get a chance to review them? Yeah, that's true. That can't be July 17th. Had to be in August something, right, John?
August.
Today's August 21st, the last meeting. Approval of minutes of the last meeting. Anyone like to move those? Move, seconded by Doug. We had Adrian and Doug. All in favor signify by saying aye. Okay. Legal notices are published. There are no new legal notices, so nothing was published. First item up in the order of business, again, we're following the agenda that's on the table up there. There's a couple chairs up front here if you want them, or you can do back there, whatever you want to do. This isn't church, so you can sit up front. So, first item up is a continued re-subdivision public hearing, PB 0702-23. Preliminary 3-lot re-subdivision, public hearing continued on behalf of the Fowler Family Trust. Now, I did forget one thing, okay? For all of you that like to do sidebar conversations and talk while we're talking, when I turn on this mic for the whole room, it's all going to be picked up and put on YouTube for the rest of eternity. So if you want that, go ahead and have sidebar conversations. If you really don't, then you probably should wait till after I turn the mic off at least before. So right now it's off. I'll turn it on when it's public hearing time. So first item up is the Fowler Family Trust. Jim, come on up. No prizes tonight. We're prizeless.
Fowler, 176 Hunters Drive in Farmington.
Okay, we're doing part 2s and 3s of the seeker and then turn it over to the ZBA. We're doing that. We also have a letter of recommendation to the ZBA as they requested. And for that, I'll turn it over to staff. I think you summarized it quite well. Dan?
Good.
Highway?
I'm good.
Engineering?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay, Jim? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is Jared Hurt on behalf of Fowler Family Trust. How are you?
Hello, Jared.
I did have a chance to review the proposed resolution, also the original memo and the revised memo that was sent out by Mr. Brand. I has also had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Brand earlier today. So I just wanted to thank everyone for their cooperation in moving this forward. I did have a chance to speak about one particular issue in the sense of there is within the memo that was provided a suggestion or recommendation for further geotechnical review, if you may. once the actual plans for the home were submitted. And I did get some clarification from Mr. Brand earlier today, because we did go through the process of having Jim Baker
Yep.
go out and do a number of studies with regard to the soils and other items of concern. So my understanding is that if this is ultimately approved and the applicant is ready to construct a home on the lot 3, my understanding is that it would just require some additional comment by Mr. Baker, or another geotechnical expert, with regard to the foundation itself. And obviously, because as of now, there are no plans for the board, so whether it's slab on grade, basement with walkout, etc. I understand that the board and the town is just looking for some confirmation that structurally that would be feasible given the soil composition that's there.
I just got a head nod from both Ron, Dan, and also Lance, so I think you're absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. With that, this is a public hearing. I'm going to turn the mics on now. Remember your sidebars. Okay, this is a public hearing on the Fowler Family Trust request to put a third lot, flag lot. And we are in the process of doing the environmental record tonight. We're going to accept the part 2 and the prepared part 3. That is our goal. So we're looking for feedback on the part 2 and 3. We are not at the point of doing any site plan or anything like that. It's too early. The ZBA still has to do their work. So with that, do I have anyone in the room to speak for or against this application for the Fowler Family Trust? Anyone in the room that'd like to speak for or against this application? Anyone online like to speak for or against this application? One more time online, anyone like to speak for or against this application? Okay.
Ed?
No. What? Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Ed. This is Maureen Dispenza, 6237 Pheasants Crossing.
Okay.
With regard to the application, your question refers to the environmental report or to the
Correct.
application?
The parts 2 and 3.
I have no comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we are keeping the public hearing open because we don't know what'll happen with the ZBA and that, but we do have an application, so we'll keep the public hearing open so we don't have to reopen it when we go forward. So with that, let's start with, let's see, staff has no more, does staff have any other comments? Okay, Tim? Doug? No. Adrian? No. Regina?
No.
Okay, with that, I have, let's see, what do we have here for resolutions? We have we have two resolutions. The first one is the acceptance of the part 2 and 3 as presented of the full environmental assessment forms. There are no conditions here. We have the part 2 and 3. They've been on the website. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution? And waive the reading, I'm sorry. My brain is fried today. So moved by Adrian, seconded by Doug. Seconded by Doug. Okay, with that, clerk, please take a roll call vote on the acceptance of part 2 and 3 of the full environmental assessment form.
DeLucia. Aye. Duffy. Aye. Regina Souza. Aye. William Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Hamilton.
Aye. Okay, one step down, Jim. Next item up is the seeker determination of non-significance. The board reviewed it, the results. I think we've got all the criteria correct in here. Do we have any questions by the board? Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve the seeker determination of non-significance? So moved by Doug, seconded by
Adrian.
Adrian. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
DeLucia. Aye. Duffy.
Aye.
Regina Souza. Aye. Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Hamilton.
Aye. Done, on its way. Now, there is another discussion that we need to have though, and we've kind of had that already a little bit. there was a letter that we put together for my signature that had to do with, recommendations to the ZBA, which they requested. Did everybody get a chance to review my comments, my updated comments? Did anybody have any issues with changes, suggested changes? Do I have a voice vote that I can sign this thing and move it on to the ZBA? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, pass that down to John, if you would, please. Okay, that's been signed, sealed, and delivered. Ron, one more what?
Resolution,
What did I miss?
continuation. Adjournment and continuation of public hearing.
Well, I didn't print that one.
That's why I brought all this stuff.
Gee. I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing and continue this till the 5th of September? No,
Fourth. Should be the fourth, Wednesday the fourth.
Wednesday the 4th. Okay. This is going to the ZBA next week though, right? Okay, so it's gonna be extended to the 4th, okay? Anyone have any questions on that? Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution to continue this to the 4th of September?
Motion by Tim.
Motion by Tim, seconded by Doug. Any other comment? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug East.
Aye.
Regina Souza. Aye. Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Henry.
Aye. Oh, okay, now I think Jim, or Ron, we got that thing there? Okay, we're good, Jim.
All set?
Yep, we're all set.
You guys have a good evening.
ZBA, next meeting, then we'll see you on the 4th, depending on what they got to say, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
I hope your nights go just as easy.
Yeah, what are the chances of that? All right, okay. Now we get into, I think, what everybody's here for, or most everybody's here for. This is the, you get to the right one here. These are the four applications for, we have a special use permit for the east, special use for the west. We have preliminary site plan for the east, preliminary site plan for the west. Our goal tonight is very simple, to approve, review and approve the environmental records, parts 2 and 3 for east and west. So what we're looking for after I let staff go through here and tell us what's going on or if there's been any changes, we're going to be looking for some input on the environmental records as we go forth. As you know, it's a sequential thing. We'll do environmental record this meeting. The next meeting will start on the special use permit. That will move forward with that, which Ron just showed me is 50 pages for each side. So that should be great reading for you when you really want to go to sleep at night. It should hold you over for a few nights. And then we'll go from there and go to the site plan once the special use permit's been taken care of. So let's start with Ron. Where are we at? Did I summarize most of it?
You were right on tonight.
Wow. Okay. Dan.
So residents have been reaching out to us, mostly concerned with plans.
Okay.
They have been informed that procedure that you just talked about, that tonight was only environmental. Special use would probably be your next meeting, and then depending on how long that would be, then we would be diving into site plans. I have been sending the site plan comments on to the board for the abstract, but advising everybody that that is not as premature at this point.
Right, and while you're saying that, I did receive some comments on site plan tonight that we will put in the record. If you pass that to John, please. We'll put those in the record and we'll go through those when it gets to be the right time. Anything else, Dan?
No.
Highway,
I have no comments at this time.
engineering,
We did receive revised plans early August and then again, August 13th, I believe. So at this moment, MRB Group's reviewing those revised plans per our previous comments. I don't have anything additional to offer the board as it relates to the environmental review process. I think you have everything in front of you for tonight. We'll continue with our review and hopefully get through the plans, the O and M plan and the decommissioning plan prior to your next meeting.
Okay. So with that, we'll move to the public hearing portion of the meeting. Now, know that since we have so many people here, I will be putting a 3-minute cap on everyone. So I'll start the timer once you give us your name and address. And please keep, if you can, certainly I can't tell you what to say, but please keep things focused on the environmental record if you would. So with that, let me get my phone going here. Who would like to be the first person to talk about the environmental record or this project as we move forward? Ma'am, right here in the front, no? Just say, I'm sorry.
Would you like us to come up to the front like normal?
You can, yes. Come on up. We'll see what the questions come up and whether we can answer them or should answer them and go from there, okay? Okay, ma'am, go ahead.
Susan Willard, 6011 Redfield Drive.
Okay,
I
timer's
brought-
on.
I brought a lot of reading material that I can leave with the clerk.
Okay.
From the USDA about conservation considerations, et cetera, et cetera. From the World Health Organization saying that solar farms should be located 1.2 miles from any residential area. This is not. And also from the American Cancer Society saying that they cannot rule out carcinogenic materials. So another thing I found out in my research was that there is a large number of solar companies that went bankrupt or out of business in 2023.
Yep,
And so if this Sky Solar goes out of business, who's gonna take care of the solar panels and all of that?
I can answer that very clearly.
Okay,
We require the owners of the solar farms to put a bond up in the amount that our engineers determine is required to reclaim the site, to decommission. So the answer will be, if the applicant does not, the town would take that bond money, hire a company, decommission it, and move it back to its original shape. So the answer is, we have a plan for that. We have thought of that. It's part of our process.
I'm actually not against solar energy. I think we need clean energy. I just don't think it should be closer than 1.2 miles.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let me reset this. Who's next? Who would like to speak for or against this application? Yes, sir. Tell us your name and everything, and we'll go from there.
Okay, Joel Shenton, 6027 Redfield Drive.
Okay,
First I want to thank Dan for his respectful response when we had sent him a letter with some additional questions. And now from Dan's response, I understand that we are in the environmental approval process.
Correct.
That's a secret process, isn't it?
It is. State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Do we ever get a chance to see what that looks like?
All on the website. Part 2 and 3 have been on the website for a month now.
Okay, didn't realize that.
Yep,
Thank you.
everything that we do here is on the website.
Okay. We did have some environmental issues that we just want to relate right now, and that is we are concerned about the additional water discharge. We did speak about that. And it may not be an issue from what you said. The water will not be discharged onto the properties. However, we do have some drainage problems now. We were hoping this would not add to those things. And
Well, let me calm your fears and say that no, there will be no additional water runoff of this site that doesn't already run off. There'll be no additional runoff of, I mean, it's part of the requirement that my engineers spend part of their life dealing with, making sure that everything is designed in a manner that there'll be no additional runoff from the site, period.
okay, I have.
Yep, it's part of the rule.
Okay. Since we have 15,000 square feet of roadway, I'm just wondering, how would that water not be
That's what we pay him the big money for.
So their facilities that they're on site are sized to handle the runoff from their site.
Okay.
So everything, in actuality, their site would just run off, potentially onto your property. Now it's being conveyed in a new system, kept on site, treated on site, and then released at a rate no faster than it was leaving before, at a lesser volume than it was leaving before.
Thank you.
That's the requirement.
Okay, understood. I don't know if some of these questions that I have are site or environmental, so I tried to pad them down. This one is probably not environmental, but I'm just concerned about whether or not our regulations for the fire prevention and so on, are we in compliance with the New York State Fire Code?
I will answer that. So there is a memo on record that went on today that has been drafted and put into the abstract and given to the chairman. In regards to that from the fire marshal and in coordination with the fire department. Saying that this is being installed to code. It will meet all the requirements of the state fire code. It also, the memo also includes that the fire department is able and willing to handle any emergencies at this project.
Okay, thank you. Part of that fire code requires, testing, maintenance and monitoring.
Which is all handled by the town fire marshal.
Regarding the monitoring, and I don't know if the gentleman that I spoke with last time, Eric Wood, I don't see him here, but he talked to me about all of the monitoring that would go on
Correct?
and how this would be done remotely.
Yep.
And my only question was going to be to him, but maybe you could answer that.
Well, speak to me and I'll do the determining who's gonna answer what, okay?
Yes, sir. Will there be some sort of redundancy in the monitoring system? So for example, should the internet crash?
Those will be absolutely great questions when we get to the site plan and we figure out what's going on there.
Okay,
I think the answer to that's yes, but we certainly don't want to get too carried away. I'll let you go over your three because there's been some comments in return.
got it.
Let's wrap it up though, please.
Yes, all right. If panels are damaged, such as from hailstorms,
Okay, we just had that conversation earlier.
well, there are possible release of things like cadmium and lead. What
Okay,
happens to that? Will there be soil testing ahead of time so we know what the content is? And I believe Dan
you
said.
just said yes.
So if this does happen, we can have a baseline to compare
Right.
later if there's any issues. And I.
Again, nobody uses the groundwater from that area anyway, but I totally agree with some we need to address.
And finally, and again, this may not be for now, but I'm wondering if there is going to be, or if there already is some sort of evacuation or shelter plan. If
We already heard that the evacuation area was what, 100 feet? I believe it was 100 feet from the, because of the fire suppression system?
Yeah, the evacuation area, we're talking about the first responders being back 100 feet from the actual fire.
Okay.
There wasn't-
So, but for neighbors and stuff,
We don't see any need for an evacuation.
none, okay. Because it's fire suppressed, I don't see it. So, but it's certainly an issue we'll address more within the site.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, all right.
Right.
Okay, pardon?
Can I introduce Paul?
Oh, go ahead and introduce Paul, I'm sorry.
Eric Wood, here last time.
Yes.
From
Speak up to the, go right up to
It's
the
from
mic
an
there.
organization called ESRG. Paul Rogers is here representing ESRG, who we work with for the fire safety and health safety.
Okay, great.
So I
Thank you.
just wanted to introduce Paul.
Bringing the right people to the meeting. So, okay. With that, who's the next person that'd like to speak, for or against this application in the room? One more time, anybody in the room like to speak for or against this application? Yes, sir.
I have a brand new knee, so you don't mind if I don't stand, please?
Don't mind, just speak up so we can hear you on the mic.
Bill Shell, 5976 Redfield Drive. On the prints that were turned in the environmental on the west side of the road, there is a little 1/8 by 3/16 square marking a forever wild wetland. And I've been making calls to the local DEC to find out if that is a listed wetland, and after this is graded, Is that wetland going to be drained off?
Let's let Emily speak to that.
The wetland is not on our property and it is well over 100 feet away from any work. If it was a DEC wetland, the buffer that you have to stay out of is 100 feet, so we're way out of what they would care about anyways. If we were to get near it, we're not going to affect the wetland at all.
The second question is, at current grading, where does that water currently run off to?
It's not on the property, so I don't know if anybody,
On the wetland,
I walked it yesterday, even with my leg, it runs toward the west.
okay, but it's not on this
Right toward
property.
the east.
It's not on this property.
It does run onto the property.
It's not, the wetland is not on this property, so this is not part of this application. I mean, am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. It's part of a drainage divide that drains to the north. and
Right.
east To Posey Swamp and eventually Black Brook and eventually to the Seneca Canal.
And Lance, you'll consider all that in your whole review of the whole SWIP and everything.
Correct. All of it has got to be considered as part of the process to make
Right.
sure there's no net negative impact on your
Correct.
adjacent properties.
Okay, anything else, Bill? You good? Okay, anybody else like to speak for or against this application? Sir, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm John Grady. I live at 6018 Redfield Drive.
Okay,
I have a question that's not related to the environment right now, but it could be. It's regarding maintenance of the retention ponds. Who will be responsible for maintenance of the retention
Dan.
ponds?
Dan's gonna answer.
So, our MS4 program has a maintenance, requirement that they're required to file with us, and they will be inspected yearly, by the owner. And any maintenance that's required is called out, and if it's not, then there's a process, that the town has set up that if they don't do it, the town will come in and do the maintenance and bill it back to the owner.
Who would be responsible for inspecting the retention ponds to see if there is maintenance to be done?
The owner is required to submit that yearly to us.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. Let's do this. Anybody else like to speak for or against this application? All right, yeah, I want to go one more time in the room here. Anyone else like to speak for or before I go online? Okay, online. Anyone online like to speak for or against this application? Anyone online like to speak for or against this application? Okay. I don't have anyone else speaking right now. Let's make one last call and then I'm gonna turn to the board and we'll go from there and end the comments for tonight. Okay, with that, we have in front of us, I'm gonna go to my cheat sheet here. We have a resolution accepting part 2 and 3 of the full environmental assessment form for the east. Then we have a secret determination of non-significance for the east. Then we have the same thing for the west. Then we have an adjournment continuation to September 4th. Am I right, Ron?
That's what it says.
That's what it says. Okay.
Thank you, John.
Yes, thank you so much, John. So the first item up is well, first off, let me ask the board if they have any comments or questions. Tim? Doug? Adrian? Regina? Okay, and I don't have anything because I've been looking at this thing for weeks. Weeks for sure. Okay, first resolution is accepting the part 2 and 3 of the full environmental assessment forms for the proposed special use permit and preliminary site plan for the east portion of this property. Has everyone had a chance to review that resolution? Any comments? Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve that resolution as presented? Moved by Doug, seconded by
Adrian.
Adrian. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Lucia.
Aye.
Doug Dees.
Aye.
Regina Susa. Aye. Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
And Henry.
Aye. Okay, next item up is a resolution making a determination of non-significance under the seeker for the proposed special use permit and preliminary site plan approval for the east portion of this project. Any comments? Motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution?
Motion by Tim.
Motion by Tim, seconded by
Doug.
Doug. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Tim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Gina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Henry.
Aye. Next item up. And I think. Yep. Next item up is the accepting part 2 and 3 of the full environmental assessment form for the west portion for both the special use permit and preliminary site plan. Any comments? Motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution. Moved by Adrian, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Tim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Gina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Henry.
Aye. Okay. Next item up is a resolution accepting the determination of non-significance under seeker for the proposed special use permit and preliminary site plan for the west portion of the Sky Solar project. Do I have any comments? I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution.
Motion by Tim.
Motion by Tim, seconded by Adrian. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Tim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Gina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Henry.
Aye. And we have a resolution adjourning the public hearing and continuing it to the 4th of September for all 4 applications, the east and west special use, east and west preliminary site plan. Know that our next meeting will be more focused on the special use permit. There will be a document online that's going to be 50 pages probably each. That will be that special use permit review, in case you want to review that. Do I have any comments on this resolution? I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution.
So moved.
Doug, seconded by
Yeah.
Adrian. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Tim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Gina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Ed Henry.
Aye. Okay, that ties up what we're doing.
Mr. Chairman, can the Redfield Grove Homeowners Association get a printed copy of that 50-page document from the town?
You can come in and request anything you want from the town.
When it's completed.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be, it's not completed yet. But when it does get completed and it's ready to go on the website, I'm sure we can get a copy. It might be easier to get electronic copies passed around than that. But yeah, that work with staff,
We can ask the town clerk for that.
Yeah, when.
Town clerk, yeah.
When it's released to the board.
when it's released to the board,
I'm
yes.
still working on it.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I mean, my goodness, you've got to have a 50-page document twice. One for east, one for west, so,
The reason it's 50 pages in length is because of all the criteria
right,
that we have to determine has either been met or doesn't apply.
correct.
And when you put that all in writing, it eats up a lot of paper.
As I always say, it takes a lot of work, but we do it right. So, okay, that's the end of Sky Solar for tonight. Special use permit next meeting on the 4th, and hopefully we'll roll through that and be able to get into the meat and bones of the site plan and get things rolling there. So, Sky Solar folks here, if you're here, if you'd like to leave, go ahead and leave if you'd like. Outside. No.
Let me look into it, because we haven't been taking.
Just. Otherwise, just. I'm going to call them on.
About the top of the hill of Redfield Drive. I got something I need your help with. Appreciate it.
I will try. We are paving tomorrow. Be a long day.
Yeah, we got guys with motorcycles using that side.
That would be a call to the sheriffs.
Done that.
All right, if they're gonna be talking to Hall, pick that door closed on your way out, Will Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next item up is the final site plan for PB 0710-24 Conifer Realty, the Creekwood Phase 2 project. Come on up, tell us what's going on.
Do you want your displays up or do you need them or not?
Yeah, you can.
That one work?
My name is Rafael Barreto. I'm here representing Marathon Engineering.
Uh-huh.
We recently received a set of comments from MRB.
Yep.
We've gone and reviewed those with the client, and they are happy to comply with all of those requests. I think there were just a couple of questions regarding parking. Is that, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think there were some questions on parking.
Yeah.
I think Doug had some questions on parking.
Yeah, so we have, we're confident that we're going to have enough space here at the 5-unit homes, which are.
Do you need the other one?
We have the overall.
How's that?
So we have the 5-unit homes through here are each gonna have a 2-car garage. They're all 3 bedrooms. It's also have a basement for storage. A 10-unit buildings. We do not have any basements. I think there are a mixture of 1 and 2 bedroom units. We have enough parking, both parking spaces and there's both along the private drive and fairly comfortable.
And he's heard my comments numerous times, but I will bring them up again at the end. I don't ever miss an opportunity to talk about parking, ever. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
So I think at this point, we're prepared to, make all the requested changes and work with town staff about, getting those fixes up with, Mylar. But answer your next?
Well, we'll start with staff. Ron,
No, you indicated you've seen the draft resolution
Yes.
and you have no objections to it.
okay,
Thank you.
good there. Dan,
The
good job, by the way, Ron.
The majority of the concerns were in preliminary and have been addressed as we moved into final here. Staff has limited comments and they've all been addressed with conditions in the resolution.
Highway?
I'm gonna go along with that in the parking. Definitely is an issue.
Always.
Like to make sure there's plenty of parking there for overflow.
Exactly. Engineering.
Yeah, I wanted to identify that the town did get revised preliminary plans, which we had to review and sign off on in order to get the final plans to you guys tonight.
Right.
That process typically is all inclusive and much more thorough review. However, sometimes there's scenarios where drainage will carry over to final. That's why it took us as long as it did to get through the final review, is because we're trying to button up some of the drainage stuff that we had going on between the two drawings. We did issue a letter today. I thought it was pretty minor in terms of, there wasn't anything substantial that I thought was in our letter. I hope that you guys agree to that. I think at this point, we also, as part of the review, was confirming any potential changes on final on something that'll be before you later on today, which is the letter of credit estimate. So we were able to get both of those out the door within the last 2 days.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, board, Tim,
No, I'm good with this.
Doug,
No, my comments have been addressed.
perfect, Adrian. Regina. Well, I'll take this opportunity to jump on my soapbox one more time to talk about parking. I spent half of my adult life living in these exact conditions. There's never enough parking. I don't care whether you got basements, 2-car garages. They will all park outside. They will use their garages for storage, and then they'll park on the street. If it's a dedicated town road, they certainly have some limitations, which means they can't park during certain times of the year. When they do, Tim's gonna do his thing and I assume have them towed. Parking is always a consideration. You know, multifamily houses like this and apartments and townhouses are just always an issue for parking. So I say that to have it put in the record, but it is what it is. I can't require you to do more than is required by town code, but know that it's a huge issue and I've lived it many times. So with that, we have a planning board resolution, final site plan approval that the applicant has agreed to. It has a number of conditions, i.e. 13. Has everybody had a chance to review? Do I have a motion to approve with conditions without reading it? Moved by Doug, seconded by
Gina.
Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Michelle. Doug Beats.
Aye.
Regina Suso.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis.
Aye. Aye. Okay, so with that, we thank you and you can work with staff and get everything tied up and get the documents in for signature. The sooner the better, but as I always say, work with staff. Tomorrow morning wouldn't be too soon. All right?
We can make it happen.
Cool, I like that. Talk to you later. Okay, first item up, under other board actions, we have 2 letters of credit, partial releases. I assume it's all been tied up. Everybody's good to go with that. Do I have a motion to block those 2?
So moved.
Moved by Doug, seconded by Tim. Any other comments? Do we need a roll call vote on these?
You usually do.
Okay. Clerk, please take a roll call vote on the approval of these 2 partial letters of credit.
Lucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Regina Suso.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
And Helen Ju.
Aye. Okay, next item up is PB 0802-24. Dan, you've got something on this one, correct?
No.
Oh, no, this is on the public hearing. This is on the setting the preliminary site plan, deciding on a public hearing, and if this is a complete application to proceed with referral to the Ontario County Planning Board for future agenda. I believe we have everything we need and we can move forward, correct? No.
No, I think the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry, it does say incomplete. My note says incomplete. Oh,
Yes.
help me, Ron.
Well, we're helping Dan because
Okay, Dan.
Well, we can both talk about it. The site plan, per code doesn't have everything that's required, to move forward, but it was turned in, so it's up to you guys to make a determination.
So staff has determined that the application is incomplete. I don't think there's any reason anybody on the board would think that it's complete when staff has said it's incomplete. Am I right or wrong or correct? So in support of staff, I would like to take a vote that determines that this application is incomplete at this time.
And
Do I have a-
Can I just add one more? thing?
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, well, we're saying it's incomplete. If we didn't do that and send it to county planning,
They would say it's incomplete.
and they would say it's incomplete, you will have wasted a month.
Right.
And
Are you guys here for that?
Yeah.
You guys understand that it's incomplete and why it's incomplete? Have you met with staff and talked to staff?
So you guys turned it in. It doesn't meet code, and that's what we responded back. The code is very clear of chapter 144, what a site plan has to have. It's missing a lot of things. You submitted a plan that's for a septic. We said you needed a site plan.
No, for sewer.
Well, for sewer, yeah, but it's a site.
We have a septic we're using.
Right, but if you submitted just for that, we need a site plan for any site improvements.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's stop for 2 seconds here. Let's get both your names and addresses so the clerk has them so we can do this properly. I'm sorry, I should have, I guess, started there. Go ahead, give us your names and address.
1229 Grove.
Okay? Okay, all right, so you guys submitted something, it wasn't complete according to staff. I assume they gave you that feedback.
So it went to the engineer, Mark's Engineering, saying that this is incomplete. They've done multiple site plans with us, so they understand what's required. We always recommend a meeting with staff to go over site plans. And that, again, was sent to your engineer. That's normally our process. So, but again, you turned in an application, so the first step is having this board review it and seeing off of a recommendation of staff, what, if it's determined complete or.
Okay, well, let's move to the next step. What do they need to submit a new plan, or do they just need to update this one to be complete?
I would highly recommend setting up a meeting with their engineer and town staff. So that we can go over what they submitted and what is missing.
Okay? That makes sense? Yeah, so just work with staff, set up a meeting, get Brennan or whoever, Mark's Engineering down. They know what we do, how we do it, and we've worked with them many times. We'll get it right so that the next time we can say it's complete and do all the proper things after that, okay? So, we still have to go through a motion to declare this incomplete. I have a motion? So moved by Doug, seconded by Adrian. Any other comment? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Lucio.
Aye.
Doug Beat.
Aye.
Gina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis. Ed Henry.
Aye. Okay, so you got a plan. Plan is get with staff, set up a meeting, and then we'll get this thing rolling, okay? You can certainly add one thing.
We have a working septic, we're not comfortable that, confident that the septic's going to work appropriately, we use it for personal storage. And what's in law, I think something there. We just want to hook up to the sewer, we're not trying to develop it, we're not trying to do anything with this property.
Remember that we didn't write the code. We just have to enforce the code. The code says you gotta have a site plan. You gotta have a site. I totally understand, but the code is the code. Okay? Thanks, guys, for coming. Appreciate it. Next item up is D, Beretta temporary use permit preliminary site plan application. This is Dan, right?
Yep, I'll talk about this and Ron will jump in. Actually, Ron and Augie in my office have been working with Beretta on this. This has been going on quite some time. Originally, the plan was going to be a special use permit to allow for that. On staff's recommendation, it's going to go back. We're looking for a denial of that so that they can apply for a temporary use as code develops. And hopefully this would be a allowed use in that district.
So the resolution is for denying the application?
Correct. for the
Okay.
special use and directing them to file a
Temporary use.
temporary use with the ZBA.
Okay. We have a resolution, doing what he just said. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So
Moved by Doug, seconded by Adrian. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote.
Lucia. Aye. Leeds.
Aye.
Adrian. Regina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Bellis. Ed Henry.
Aye. I want you to know, Regina, we don't usually have this many weird things happen on other board actions.
We saved them all up just for your.
I think they did. I think they saved them up. My goodness. Literally, I don't remember the last time we declared something incomplete. And I don't remember the last time we denied something on other board action.
Well, we tried to get it right
Right.
before,
Yeah, exactly,
but
that's
some
weird.
people want it in front of you guys, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good track record with the county, and we don't want to ruin it.
I agree.
Somebody wants to do something.
Okay, we have a final site plan deciding on a public hearing date. Again, for the board, Doug and I have had deep conversations. I know Doug had conversations with staff as well. Because of the new requirement, the 62 days start when we accept the application. If we have a public hearing, we have more flexibility on that. So that's kind of why we're doing some of these changes to things. So Quaker Meeting House final site plan deciding on a public hearing. It is complete based on staff. And we can continue with scheduling it for the September 4th meeting. Staff, we're okay with that? Everything's good?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Board have any comments, questions, concerns with that one? Well, the only difference is you're having a public hearing. Nobody will show for it, so it's no real big deal. But it does give us flexibility to be able to
Sounds like it's set up.
carry it on if we need. It's the same date. We're not changing, it would be the 4th, even if we didn't have a public hearing. Because we still have to declare it complete. So with that, do I have a motion to approve? All right.
You're deciding whether to have a public hearing or not,
Yeah,
because it's open-ended.
It's
I don't know
open-ended.
Which way we're gonna go,
correct.
okay? You had a public hearing at preliminary.
Yes.
Okay? Wasn't any comments,
Okay.
okay? Based on that, and based on the changes that have been made to the drawing, is there really a need, in your opinion, to have a public?
I would say no, as long as that flexibility of those 62 days doesn't affect us, and it probably shouldn't. So do we want to just say no public hearing? I mean, I'm okay with that.
Well, I would say that 62 days from today, okay, takes you into October, and you would have 2 meetings in September and 1 meeting in October. If you can't figure this out by then, we're doing something wrong.
So then
And like that Ron said,
nobody showed up the first time anyway. Yeah.
Let's just go with this one right now, because we're on it, Bigger Meeting House.
Right.
Your hands are a little bit tied with some of it, because it's historical anyway, so I mean, down the road, I personally don't feel that we need a public meeting.
I tend to totally agree with you. But
Keep in mind, the only thing we're doing is addressing the driveway and the parking
right.
and taking the shell off and letting them start to make structural improvements to that 1816 building.
So then do we have a resolution to declare it complete, not schedule a public hearing, and put it on the September 4th meeting?
Close the public hearing.
Not have a public.
There's not one open right now.
Right. But remember that no matter what, it would have gone on the 4th meeting anyway.
And these resolutions will continue to come with you, to you guys with the option
Of
to
doing it.
schedule a public
Okay.
hearing if you feel the need for one.
Okay,
If
Cool.
there's feedback or kickback from the beginning.
correct.
Whatever the board feels, I mean, like you're doing tonight.
Yeah.
You're making a judgment call, is it needed?
And in
But
this
you're
case,
doing
it's
two
not.
things. You're accepting the final,
Right,
so that directing staff to prepare it for you guys for obviously September 4th. And you're making a determination if you need a public hearing.
okay. The determination is we do not need a public hearing, scheduled for the 4th, planning board agenda. Are we good with that?
Keep in mind that this is just.
This is a new procedure for us, I know.
Site plan. Subdivision, you have to have a public hearing at preliminary,
That's preliminary.
okay?
Right,
And you would have
okay,
preliminary anything though, right?
no,
Only subdivision.
subdivision, yeah.
You have a public hearing if you have a special use permit. You have a
Right, not
public
site-
hearing
But
if you
not
have,
site plan.
right.
Unless if the board wants it.
Wants it.
I mean, that's.
And that's where these are gonna come in as we get to determine whether we want it or not. In this case, on the Quaker Meeting House, we say, no, we do not need a public hearing. It's complete to proceed with scheduling for 9/4. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Moved by Doug, seconded by Adrian. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Jim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Regina Souza. Adrian Velez. Ed Hamel.
Aye. Okay, this one you can stay there, but just don't hang, no comment, please. This is PB 0803-24, that's the same exact thing. Do we need a final site plan? Well, I mean, do we need a public hearing for a final site plan? The answer is, I don't see we do. 62 days, it's a very simple project. So do we agree to scratch the public hearing? Okay. So we scratch the public hearing and schedule it for the 4th, which is where it would have fallen because of when it was submitted anyway. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve this application for the proceed on the 9/4 without a public hearing?
Motion by Tim.
Motion by Tim, seconded by
Gina.
Regina. Any other comment? Clerk, take a roll call vote.
DeLucia. Aye. Doug Beats.
Aye.
Regina Souza.
Aye.
Adrian Velez.
No, you can't vote.
Oh, sorry,
You
recuse.
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 I'll vote yes. Okay, all right. Last one is Conifer Realty, recommendation to establish a letter of credit. All the documentation's been done. We're moving this one quick, so do anybody have any issues with establishing a letter of credit for them? This is the one we just approved. Oh, we're trying to move this one along so we can get that road completed. So when the bridge is taken care of, we have an alternative route for the folks coming out of, Running Brook. No,
Yes.
yes, out of Running Brook.
I just wanted to add,
Go ahead, Ron.
we received notice today from the state that, the next forms have to be completed and submitted back to them. Has to be completed by a professional engineer. We're working on that. That's evidence that we know the seriousness of this condition and appreciate your moving forward with this public.
Cool. I have a motion to approve this letter of credit, establishing this letter of credit. The town board will see it at their next meeting and they will already have had our recommendation. Have a motion to approve? Moved by Doug, seconded by? Tim, any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
We could have been out of here a half hour ago, you know?
Jim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Regina Souza. Adrian Velez.
Aye.
Ed Hamel.
Aye. All right, now we're on to very short staff reports. Ron,
Well, I just report that the design plan for the pedestrian bicycle bridge crossing the Beaver Creek are still under review by state DOT and Fisher Associates. And we expect that to be released. As far as the project goes, Prado was over today and they put in the granite curbing along County Road 41.
nice.
So that's moving along. They're working to complete the sections over on Mertensia. And next week they'll be working on Maddie's Power Sports. The electrician there and the other one, by the way, Graham Marcus from, Maddie's Power Sports has a contract with, the electrical engineer next door. And he's going to be putting in the conduit and putting in the additional light pole, which he knows is going to be required anyways.
Smart move.
And he's doing it while the driveway is torn up, so that's a good move, very good move. Despite the fact that the supervisor was told by Mr. Ingracia that we would have the drawings last week for the Farmington Market Center project. To the best of my knowledge, we have not received them.
I agree with that comment.
Okay.
Board me shocked.
And the other thing that you need to know is one of your former planning board members, Chauncey Malloy, is busy working on a set of preliminary plans for Whitestone because the town board approved it
Yep,
at their meeting last week. So you.
Yeah, we
will
should
be
see that pretty
receiving
quick.
that shortly.
pretty quick.
And that will go through a coordinated review, secret of the whole nine.
Right.
nine yards. And I take it the newsletters are out because I've got a couple calls already.
Yeah, they are.
Good.
At least I got mine.
The only other thing I want to just point out to you guys is that Regina still wears two hats for us.
She does.
She still serves on the rec advisory.
Oh,
board.
that's right, yeah,
Okay, so we appreciate that, Regina. Thank you.
absolutely. Dedication.
I love it.
I do too. Daniel,
I'm gonna try to keep mine short.
Hey, I was.
try really hard.
Things are very busy for us, with all the hail damage. We have tripled, quadrupled our permit numbers for this month, compared to other months, so the guys are extremely busy. We did, not do packets, as you guys are aware, for this meeting. We did everything electronically, and we will probably have to continue that, for at least your next meeting or two. If you need something printed, let me know. Send me an email, give us a call. We will print it, or we'll put a copy for you, but otherwise, we're just gonna do it electronically at the moment, just because that's faster and quicker for us. And I'm short help, so that's all I got.
I wait.
We paved Farmington Road and Shortsville Road. That was completed today. Tomorrow we'll be doing the southern end of Sand Hill. Monday, hopefully the northern end. And Clover Meadow by the end of next week. So
Nice.
if you're in those areas, please find an alternate route.
And salt's been ordered and snowplows are on.
Oh, we already have a barn full of salt. We're ready to purchase all.
Lance,
As I mentioned last meeting, we're working with the town on the site design criteria updates, so I met with town staff. We did by departments. There's gonna be some substantial updates to those. Nothing that directly impacts this board, but mostly town staff and how things are being installed and the materials used. I'm also working with Ron on several map updates, mostly the zoning map. And then also working with Dan on addressing the MS4 criteria and the DEC general permit requirements. So we're continuously working through the next requirement as it relates to the MS4, and the general permit is October 3rd. I believe that's the date. So we're working with town to get as much material as we can, gather it up and ready for that submission.
good. Ron,
I know I said, I have one more thing. I did talk with Walt Baker, DSB Engineering. And Anthony DePrima has entered a contract agreement with Ryan Holmes. Ryan Holmes is going to be coming in with sections 3, 4, and 5 of Monarch Manor. And their target date is October. There's a total of 40 units there that they want to build. They're going crazy because they're running into all kinds of roadblocks with other projects. Primarily because of utility or issues. So we will get the sidewalk between Lilybrook and Monarch Drive. We will get all the other improvements. And I thank Walter for that transfer. And we can take a serious look on these remaining 3 sections on landscaping.
Perfect. Okay, as you're aware, I did specifically request fire department tonight to be here. They weren't able to. That's why Augie put together that package for us. Because we knew that there would be questions about fire suppression and fire department response to the solar project. So we did that. Planning board members, Tim? Doug?
The only thing I'll mention, I did attend last week, New York State DEC seminar on the new wetland regs.
Oh,
I forgot all about it.
We all work set it up for me, so that was on my calendar, so I didn't, but there is another one on the 27th. So
Okay.
that was something that came up, and they just kind of background of what the changes are looking at. Some of them that just have to keep an eye on, I think.
Delineate everything,
Yes.
pretty much.
They're taking the old maps and they don't exist anymore. The new ones, they're our own, they're not regulatory, so they're just information. Site. Pretty much it.
Should be part of the application essentially. There's,
Yeah.
you have a site and you want to develop it, you should have a wetland professional go out there and delineate it.
And the acreage doesn't matter as much anymore, especially if you're in the certain zones. So, yeah, like you said, it's pretty much required. So anyways, there's another one on the 27th.
cool. Adrian? Gina? Welcome aboard. Actually, that wasn't too bad a night considering the solar actually went extremely well, I thought. So again, for me, I've been working with staff. I don't know how many times over the last couple of weeks, trying to get everything straight, trying to make sure we know what we're doing, trying to keep the resolutions flowing and, that letter, we had to do some edits because of some feedback from the town attorney, which was a good thing. So with that, any other comments by anyone? Motion adjourned by Tim, seconded by Doug, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.